you've worked with so many staff. Most of the listeners and watchers, the subscribers to this podcast are church-based or campus-based staff, and of course some student leaders. But all the staff that you've recruited over the years, you've led, you've worked with alongside, what do you think are a few qualities of a great campus worker? What do you look for that are really stand out in a really effective, fruitful campus worker, do you think?
I think probably a deep love for Jesus and a heart for the lost, and then a willingness to go be with lost students, not just to talk about it. And the willingness to think how, if my students' ministry is successful, then I'm successful. And it can be easy for a staff to cripple a ministry. My observation is that the more staff there are at a campus, it's not always a problem, but it can be a problem. And that the students go, you guys got this. You don't need me.
Yep.
And so I want my staff doing things only staff can do. So several years ago, we came up with a thing called the 100 Things We Do. And it ended up being, I think, about 200. And we just listed out every single thing we do: fall launch, spring break trips, Bible studies, IBDs, everything we do. And we wrote down what can only a staff do, what can a student do with a staff helping them, and what can only a student do. And we try to get that to as much as we can. Only a student can do this.
Wow.
But then have the staff only doing the things they can do. And one of those things is modeling evangelism, getting down into the field and modeling evangelism. And then as you train those staff, of course, guess what they do when they go open their campus is they go model being in the field with the lost. And so, so I think a willing heart, they don't have to be an evangelist, but if they're willing to do that, and as Jim Ranella says, it's hard for me when I have to help somebody find the gas. I'd rather help them find the brakes. So if they have a willing heart, then I can train them on getting down on campus and how to use their time. We actually early on, we don't assume that our young staff know how to use their time well. And so for the first semester, I tell them, I want you to log everything you do, and I want you to code it in colors. When was evangelism? When was discipleship? And then we talk it through. They fill it out themselves, and we go, wow, man, that's tough. You have a real heart for evangelism, but you only had time in your schedule for about 2 hours. So what can we do next week to be freeing up to where you're not just meeting with Christians? Or how can you take those Christians and get them down there? So I'll share a fun acronym that I use with my staff and the students is low rep or plower. But the way that I do it is low rep. These are for my man-to-mans, and all of my staff and all my students, they low rep their one-to-ones. So life, I share about my life and hear about your life. And then as we do that, observe. I'm just paying attention. Well, what's God doing in Paul's life? Why has he had 6 roommates that all move out? Maybe, whatever it might be. So observe and disciple accordingly. W, we're going to get time in the Word. We might talk about who you have a crush on, and we may do that the whole time, but we're not going to do that next week too. So we're going to get time in the Word. R, reproduce. I am not helping a student if I'm not helping them think about who they can reach next. So I'm always talking about multiplication. I've got visuals. I've got stories. I got each guy gets a baton. Here's one of our nobleman batons. And I say, hey, you're going to show the guy who you're helping this baton. And you're going to tell him when he gets a man, you're going to give this to him. And you come back and get another one from me. And so
love that.
Reproduction. So, and usually it's really hard for them to get there. And so we just keep hitting it every week. Who are you meeting with and how are you helping them reach more people? And then E, evangelism. Probably every 3rd or 4th time, I want to go do evangelism with them on campus. If our entire man-to-man gets hijacked because the Lord gives us a conversation with somebody, that's pretty awesome use of our time. And then finally, P, prayer. We pray together. So we just have that real simple model, and we tell our staff and students, do that and keep low rep in your man-to-mans, keep it simple. And so, it's pretty fun.